It's your boy Zap, King of the Giant Robots, and this is your tactical forecast for May 2022. If you're new here, I thank you for watching. This is the typical monthly update / reflective video to look at the things that have gone past and see where things will be going forward. That said, I apologize both in advance and hence for the audio issues that I've been experiencing and have still, to this date, been unable to completely solve. I have at least narrowed it down to either being a much deeper hardware issue or something changed in OBS and it is decided that it's just going to give me 5 to 15 seconds of static, followed by a brief popping, and then it goes away for anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes, happening multiple times across several episodes of Super Robot Wars Alpha 3. That said, let us try to discuss the schedule after a drink. As this month begins with a Monday, we will mention that Super Robot Wars Alpha 3 is completely wrapped up, and so we move forward into Super Robot Wars Compact 2. This will be a continuation covering all 3 parts, where the third part I will be taking a break on the channel in my attempts to translate it in the same way that I did a translation guide for Compact 3. The third part has no plot, synopsis, or translation, or anything of the ilk, which, at least I will go that far to care. Any other game, any bigger game, I would not. But the more important thing is the schedule. Every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at noon Central Standard Time, we will get Super Robot Wars Compact 2. This weekend, Front Mission First wrapped up. We ended the UCS campaign. I made my final save. We did not get any more crashes on the final stage. And I was a bit surprised that the final stage was exponentially easier in the UCS than it was on the OCU. Very odd decision there, but aside from like a rough start, I found the UCS campaign a lot easier. And I don't know if that's because you have like a pretty much locked down specific team and it's going to be focused on those people, or if it was just maybe enemy numbers were statistically lower. I found the UCS chapter easier, where most people were telling me that it was expected to be harder. Very curious. But wrapping that up, we replace our weekend game every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at noon Central Standard Time. Robot Wars Alpha for Dreamcast. We are thus revisiting the OG, the first Alpha, and checking it out in 3D. As my researchers told me, there is more than just the addition of G-Breaker in the Dreamcast version. There is an entirely new ending scenario. We will be exploring that ending scenario, naturally. Before we get to our weekend game, Data Rhythm Mystic Quest Final Bar Line continues to be every alternating weekday. So, starting this month, we will have Tuesday and Thursday, followed by Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, alternating as such, with episodes for that coming at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. And that is because the weekends are our 3 p.m. slot, we wrapped up SD Gundam Force Showdown. I can officially say I greatly disdain that game. I have no positive opinions regarding that game. And I personally feel that game was made for nobody. Your average, the majority, Gundam fans would not be interested in an SD Gundam Force product. And at the time that this game was released, SD Gundam Force was inherently targeted at children. Children playing the game on normal mode would not be able to clear that game. If a fully grown adult is struggling in the endgame process, a child from 7 to at least 15 would likely not do much better. An adult would not be playing a game based on a property targeted inherently for children. So, my point personally stands that this game was made for nobody, probably by nobody. As soon as we wrapped up that, we took the time off and relaxed with some Super Robot Pinball. And what we're going to do is I'm going to send you back in time, back to Zappa of April 18th, in order to spin the wheel. We have a rotation to make. On this wheel are 8 games from my list of nearly 100 games. I will bring up my list on my phone because you can't quite read them as they are right there. I love how this was perfectly looped. Stop that. Okay, so on this list, what I have done was I took a boring night at work, put every game that I had on my list, both tactical and non-tactical, which is typically the RPG style games, put them on a list and set it so that when a game landed, it was removed from the list. And I spun the wheel until one game remained, and that winning game would go on the list. Remove from the next wheel, do it again for 8 games. Those games are Wolfstride for the PC, Shining Force for the Sega Genesis, Dragon Force for the Sega Saturn, Final Fantasy Mystic Quest on the Super Nintendo, Super Robot Wars Z on the Game Boy Advance. We are listening to some of that. Super Robot Wars OGs on the PlayStation 2. We will run that English patch, you better believe. Super Robot Wars, the original, the first, on the Game Boy. I have a ROM hack cart for that, I think, somewhere. I have an English repro cart. That's what I meant to say, ROM hack cart. And lastly, I swear I didn't do this one on purpose, Final Fantasy Dissidia Duodecim, which I had said I was going to put on the list while I was playing that on Data Rhythm. I promise you it won legitimately. Let us rotate the board. Why? The edit wheel, that's why. Center that. I want it centered. Center. Yes, go! Dragon Force for the Sega Saturn. And so it was chosen. We are playing Dragon Force for the Sega Saturn. Naturally, I tried to record this very episode much earlier. Things have changed in the month. Things have gone awry. Things have gone right. But in the end, I've begun the process of learning how to play Dragon Force. Because it is surprisingly challenging and unclear. And I say mostly unclear because I don't have a proper physical copy. I have a copy on a disc that works in an actual Sega Saturn. But there are other slight modifiers going on with that, such as I can only have one save file, such as I don't know how to play the game yet, such as reviews saying don't follow a guide, go in raw after reading the manual. Well, I looked at guides, and none such guide actually tells you, like, what to do beat by beat. There's a lot of data there, and I just need to learn. But it was in Recording Dragon Force that after I thought I solved an audio issue, after a long stream, the issue persists. And so we're just gonna leave that on. I'm gonna leave that Dragon Force up there. Or something, I don't know. You know, I'm gonna put my G-Savior screen up, because that lets you know that I'm just rambling and talking now. I have gone to war with my PC to figure out this audio issue. For those of you that might be adults my age, it is a buzz that sounds like being outside under a power line, or several power lines. It is a crackling, followed by a brief pop, and it lasts. And I know it was brought to my attention during the stream that I can't hear it while I'm recording, and yet it happens anyway. And I have to go back and post, and I thought it was on the microphone line. It's not on the microphone line. It is on the game capture line, and I don't know what's causing it. So I took my computer down, I cleaned it out, I unplugged it, I moved it to a different location on my desk, plugged everything back in, and everything was fine. Then I played with some OBS settings, and I did a few recordings where I didn't hear it. I thought I solved it. But then I came to a stream, not this weekend, but my weekend, my Tuesday and Wednesday past, where I had some settings too high and it was causing visual lag during the stream. So I ran my settings back to what I remembered. And whatever those settings are in OBS, I think there's something in there that's causing the issue. It's an encoder issue probably, maybe a bitrate on audio. If any of y'all know more about this than I do, like, I've done my Google foo as best as I can. For some reason, my search results are always weaker and more obtuse and more unclear than when other people do it. But when I find other people that are having this issue posting on like Reddit or OBS forums, they're describing the same issue, and then they're describing that they fix the issue, and either I do what they're doing, or my settings are already what their settings are. So I'm very much unclear about what the problem is. The problem was gone, and then I reset my settings. Oops, my bad. And the problem came back. So again, I've fiddled with settings, and hopefully I've solved the issue again. But this also means that I have to take more time away from recording in order to listen back to the entirety of what I just did and hope that I don't hear that sound. And I can't just sit there and do nothing. I have to do something else. I have to be processing other things in my brain. Or I just get this weird nagging feeling, you're missing out, you're not doing enough. So I have to hope that I don't miss the audio. If y'all have tips and tricks, let me know. I would love to solve this problem. And hey, going forward in the future, we did have an extra episode last month where Street Fighter 6 put out a story mode demo where you can create your character. And I was in there. Now, I'm not a fan of the modern controls. I would rather play it, you know, classic. But a created character and a story mode. Come on, give it to me. I love those things. So it could be in the future when Street Fighter 6 drops. We might be in there as a tertiary Let's Play. We will see. But until then, we're gonna run it back with the schedule before I go back and listen to, hopefully, what is the solution to all of the audio issues. Monday through Thursday, noon Central Standard Time, Compact 2. All of the Compact 2s consecutively, and hopefully we can carry over our data. Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays at noon Central Standard Time, Robot Wars Alpha for the Dreamcast. Every alternating weekday, that's Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, Theater Rhythm Final Bar Line, but it's only Benjamin. And then lastly, the game that I need to learn, Dragon Force for the Sega Saturn. Saturdays and Sundays at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Even though I am plagued with audio issues, please and thank you, watch my content to its fullest. Continue to increase the numbers, which will help other numbers increase. Watch my videos to their fullest, even if that means putting it in another tab and listening to it like a podcast. Putting it on your phone and listening to it at work. Likes also help abuse the algorithm. Comments also help abuse the algorithm. It lets YouTube know that I am putting out worthwhile content, and only with you, the viewer, and your friends, and their eyeballs, and their earlobes, can help me get to my end of year goal of 500 subscribers on YouTube. If you wish to help me not have to go to my real life job and create more content more often in a less stressful environment, then check me out infrequently at twitch.tv/ACE_Zappa. That is Ace Zappa, where I stream games. I will often stream the games that will appear here on YouTube. And you can chat with me live and have your name and your comment immortalized in the YouTube video. Perhaps correcting me with data or sharing your hype in the thing that just happened. Likes, shares, subscriptions, all that jazz will continue to increase the number, and hopefully one day I can retire from real life job before getting to senior citizen age. I'm going to go continue to battle with these audio issues. Thank y'all for watching. Good night, Space Nerds.